Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Van Orn and this is another Dragonheir Silence God video. It's been a while since my last video because, well, there is not much really to talk about. No much news from the devs at the moment and not much new things to do in the game. And so I've been just enjoying the game and trying other things on the side to see if I can find another game to cover on a side to Dragonheir on this channel. And the research for now has not been that good, to be honest. I've tried a couple of games, but I don't seem to be really engaged with them. And so if you have any suggestions, I will be happy to note down in the comments what you guys are playing. And if there is anything worth actually spending your time on out there beside Dragonheir. Because, yeah, my research has not been very good so far. Nevertheless, this is an account upgrade and a progression on the Chaos Shadows bosses. We are in the second week of the Chaos Shadows and I have already complete all the construction of the teams. As you can see, I have many champions at level 90 and 99. All my teams for the bosses are built up at least to 99. Have tested them, I've run them on the boss and I can see what damage they can do. And for this week, I've already locked in my 4 comps. And so if you look over here, these are my 4 comps for this week. I've been able to do 208.8 million with my broken whale shadow comp. There is a double inspiration also as well, because I've pulled some dice recently on the season 3 banner and I got 2 copies of them, and so the artifact really doesn't do much, I've noticed, and so I went for the inspiration for now until I decide if I want the artifact or not. I can always revert them back. I've had 127.9 million with the Thunderbolt team and 71.1 million with my Aura, while I'm doing only 50.7 million with my Ice Blast. This team, it's been the latest coming. I've had Asphalt over here because the attack aura give me a little bit more advantage compared to the crit damage from Neja. Nevertheless, these are the team I've locked in for this week, and the main reason why I've locked them in is because Deep Psychic Core for those 2 affinity pairing will not see any development anytime soon. I'm not gonna invest on the ice and shadow last level until for a while. I need to build up my fire because I'm struggling a little bit on pillar, and so I need some help over there. I have left behind a few stages of pillar because I can't get through the stage with the corrosion team, and so that is a bit of a pain, and you're probably going to need to build some other champions and try to get through this stage over here, because I need these materials, I need all of these resources, and I want to keep progressing, and that's why I'm focusing a little bit on poison and fire, so that I can be able to progress on this side too. We're getting close to level 60 opening, so in only a few days away. And so when we finish this one, we're gonna get another artifact, and I want to be there on time. I'm keeping up with everything, and that's probably the first suggestion. As always, try to keep up with the exercise, as they call them over here, Fame Under and Pillar. Try to keep up with both of them because the resources that you get are useful, especially in this phase when you're trying to build up your team. You need especially the material for leveling up your Psychic Core, because these are really good. You can build up basically damage done and reduce the damage taken mostly, and build your HP, your attack, your comps are going to work better overall, and you can push a lot of damage. Now, if you see that you don't have any major improvement coming in those days remaining for that week, then you can start locking in your champions and your compositions and your scores for that week, so you can get other 5,000. I think it's this material, I always forget how it's called, but it's Sense of Creation or something like that, and Affinity Solvent. Yeah, completely wrong. Nevertheless, when you get to the points where you see that it doesn't progress for that week for you, then you can start looking at the score and see where the best score might be. and save those little comps in. You get 5,000 of Affinity Solvent when you lock in a comp. So for example, this week with the 4-1 is going to be 20,000. And you can start continuing building basically your psychic core for another affinity. And so next week, for example, I will be able to use my fire, one of between fire and poison, which is probably going to be my corrosion team, which is the one performing better. But at least they're going to have some psychic core built over there. Overall, the way to improve your comps are, in my opinion, 4. And one being the psychic core we'd already seen. The second one being the gear. The third one is being the placement. And the last one might be the timing or the change of compositions, depending on what you can basically come up with. So we saw the psychic core so far. When it comes to positioning, I want to show you some modification that I've done and some modification on gear and positioning that I've done on my comps, and so you can understand what I've been doing. It's probably better to go over here on the training camp, because having already saved the keys will not allow me to show you the composition and the champions in the right configuration. So let's start from Aether with the shadow composition. This composition is particularly broken. I obviously have an inspiration to Ozul over here, which is pretty good, pretty damn good to be honest. Here we have only an HP aura, so there's no change to do over there. The gear for Ozul, the best combination is this one. If you have the shadow artifact, that helps a lot. You should go for the gear set to give you attack speed, because he's going to do a lot of basic attack and battle skills. He's not going to do any ultimate, and therefore you can use also this set of gauntlets. Basically will ignore increase the damage basically if the defense is out or not. This effect, which slow down the recharge speed, will not affect any of your shadows, only going to affect other skills, but not the shadow recharging. As you can see over here, is not really affected by the skill haste, and this one really affects the skill haste and recharge speed penalty. So you can go this way with him. And what have made the difference for this comp for me has been the positioning of Ozul and having a double decrease defense and increase attack. I've built Perseus in the Zero set with the Chronically Clean, and then I have Taldi with the Zero set and the Witches Remain. I want basically to have the boss with decreased defense, possibly for the entirety of the fight or for most of the fight. And then the other thing was, exactly as I said, the placement of Ozul. Now the initial placements remain the same, but I used to play auto in auto. So Ozul will run, the boss will be here, really not there. Ozul will run on the side, jumps actually on the side when you transform in a monster, and hit in this location. Now, that is less efficient than having him where the dummy is right now. So if you spawned him as a demon behind the boss, it will basically attack most of the time both of the minions at the same time. And this will help a lot, because you will increase your damage quite consistently. And so that is a little trick for this comp. If you have Ozul and you're trying to run it, obviously that is a little trick that can help. Now, if you have another composition, obviously you need to think about the same sort of things. If there is a placement where the damage is better, try it out. And actually, if you're running different comps and you find this fine tuning, I have a Discord where we discuss all the comps, and you can come. It's down in the description down below, the link. You can come over there. We can, spitball some ideas around with other players. They are grinding the game, and it's a very non-toxic environment. We just stick to the game and some few other channels that talks about random stuff, but that is really not related to Dragonheir. And if you don't want, you can just turn them off. So as I said, or you can leave the comments down below as well. So the other comps is this one, Ascetius with Garius as a tank, and then we're using Manda, Orfena, and Perkunta. This one is another broken comps, to be honest. I have Perkunta with his exclusive artifact, and so the damage really spikes also for that. Here's the improvement has been mostly gear. I haven't found any particular tricks with the placement or anything. Garius is in the Oasis set because Sketches is going to do a lot of damage only on him. You don't need resistance really, you just need to time the cleanse from Garius when he shields at the right time basically. So if you look over here, his time is 16 every 18 seconds. That is enough basically to disable the flames, the burn that you have on you, and so Sketches will do way less damage. The rest of the team is built exactly the same. I've built probably Manda a little bit more for damage. I've have Orfena built really well for damage, and Perkunta as well, while Iola is my solo zero set, which is remain over here. I have no options to run two of them. Try some different combination, but it didn't work as well. This one is my best one and is doing decently. Is nothing really crazy. 127 million, I guess, if I don't remember wrong, which is a good comp, good damage, obviously way more than what we need, but yeah, another kind of whale comp. You can probably run range, well, you for sure run range Dauntless, and you can get a good result. Now, the next one is going to be Rook. This one, it's also a pretty interesting comp. I'm using 2 tanks and 3 range DPS. Now, the 3 range DPS need to be placed in particular position to not be hit by the boss, and your tank need to be in this position over here. You can run attack aura, basically a damage aura on all the comps I've been showing. I might forgot in previous one, but you just need to run those. You don't need to run any protection if you are at the points where I am with the psychic core, with the gear and everything. And if you see that your comps is not reaching the 5 minute, generally useful to revert back to a defensive or HP aura. In my case, I get through 5 minutes with all the comps, so I don't really need them, and so I push for more damage. I've built obviously the 3 range with damage gear, all 3 of them, and I'm using, for example here, I'm using this one because I needed the crit rate. I don't get the benefit obviously from the shadow. This champion is aura, but I needed the crit rate and I want her to do a little bit of damage, and so that was my way of doing it. Have her built as well for damage. And now here comes for the main change over here when it's being gear. I've used to run Fight 'em Down with the Witches Remain and the Zero set, and I'm still doing it, but I've swapped out Ardrit from Protection to Zero set with Crown and Clean. And the reason is because in this way I get more run times with the increased attack and the decreased defense. Having 2 champions like that, they still survive, she's still keeping the entire team alive. The boss will not, Rook will not do enough damage to kill her, and the corrosion will not scale that much on the rest of the team. She will run basically in this position because obviously the boss again is here. She will run here and Fight 'em Down will run on her side. So when the battle skills from the boss will run through this line, it will only hit her, and the ultimate will hit everyone pretty much on this area. And so your teams are pretty much safe. You don't need to build particularly high defense on Fight 'em Down neither. You will survive the entire fight. There's not much really to worry about. I've tried to run some timing over here, but obviously it's not that easy. And because you have, well, in my case, I have Shala pushing the turn meter of the high attack, and so kind of screw up the entire team at times. But this team has been able to do around 70 million, which is decent. I'm happy also because my rally is really trash and I couldn't get any closer to that damage with anything rally. And so this team is my best choice. And then the last one will be the Ice Blast. I've tried Corrosion as well. Maybe I can show you that one too at the end. But my last team is going to be my Ice Blast. So on this team over here, I am running basically a couple of shadows and 3 ice. I'm using Kesitia or Quaisitia, whatever is the pronunciation. She's with the Crown Clean and the Zero set, and she can run up to the boss and place recharge speed penalty, decrease attack, decrease defense, and push a little bit back the turn meter when she does. Basically hit the boss, and then I've geared her with this set over here, basically absolute deterrence, because I want her to try to resist the stuns. And this will slow down the ultimate, but still doesn't matter because she will be alive and she will still hit, and she will still have a little bit of a chance to place the decreased defense, decrease attack, and push back the turn meter. And so if you're losing 5 seconds for each rotation, 5 or 10 seconds depending on the amount of stuns you resist, it's still good. And I'm compensating that with Asphalta. And she's built pretty much in the same way. She also doesn't have a lot of defense, but she still survived the entire fight. She is my Witch's Remain applier because her ultimate goes off every 10 seconds pretty much. She's also have a chest that prevent her to get stunned. So I'm trying to get those increased attack and decreased defense as often as possible. I then have Fenja with the horn. I don't need the gatekeeper over here, the shield. The team still survive, and so I'd rather run this one to get a little bit more damage out of the team, while I'm bringing 2 full range DPS with Bleeding, recharging the Ice Crystal on Fenja, and Fenja built for damage, hitting the boss. I've tried to time this one, but this one doesn't really work much with the timing, because the boss basically will do that little 5% ultimate energy depletion for the ultimate and the lightning strikes, which is random. You never know if you get depleted 5, 10, 15% or nothing, and so the timing is all over the place for the entirety of the fight. And so I'd rather run it freely like this and look at the score and stop it and restart it if I see that the score is not going in the right direction. This team as well, I will not see any improvement anytime soon. I'm not planning to run any gear farming for the moment. I'm going to go back to focus on the Goblin and Domains, because even if we are only halfway through the Calavera event, the Chaos Shadows, the next 2 weeks for me are going to be testing and breaking down my comps to get ready for the other world exploration. I've already built all the teams that are able to do more than 22 millions. Now the next step, logical for me, is to try to prepare the 15 teams for the other world. And so I'm going to take each of this team, try to take out 1 or 2 key champions and see if they still make it to 22 million, and replace those champions with some filler to get the bonuses for the 5 elemental affinity. See if I need to build up someone to 30, 40, whatever level it is to get advantage of the aura, and see who else I need to build up to 99 to be able to do the damage and sustain the team for the fight. And so the next week in particular will be dedicated to that. I will try to do at least 3 of the 6 team made this way, so broke down. I will start obviously from the highest score. It's easier to break them down for something easier, and so when you take those big DPS and you basically put around someone that just goes for the amount of time to get to 22 millions, you can easily break down those comps. So that will be my focus from now on, and you're gonna start popping some of the videos about it. And as always, guys, I hope you enjoy, and if you did, consider liking and subscribing. You're not going to miss out on the next update. And if you want as well, please leave comments down below. Let me know what you're doing with your comps. I want to know how you're improving. If you've seen something here that I can improve as well, please let me know. I'm always open and happy to improve what I'm doing over here. And it's always nice to, share and learn from each other. We never stop to learn. And as well, guys, this is everything, and until next video, have fun.